Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you another video. Alright, so everything went smooth. Everything went smooth. I was able to get the money out, paid him real quick. Came out to be $368. Not cheap this week, but I'm very thankful that my uncle sent me the money to take care of that. So I got myself solidified for another 7 days. And on the 14th, we'll do this again if I don't find something between now and then. And I won't rule out anything because I'm open to all blessings. What else? Threw some laundry in. I mean, they're very expensive laundry. I thought I was going to need to use 2 machines, which would have made this out to be an $8 day for laundry. But I was able to put everything comfortably in one washer. So we'll see if that does hold up for the same in regards to the dryer. But, you know, if push comes to shove, I got more quarters. I'm going to need them in the future anyway. So that's a good thing. That's about it, man. Really nice lady up front. Took the transaction. I had never seen her before, but she had the kindest attitude, along with the other guy who came in, of course, and fixed the toilet. He's awesome, super awesome. He also asked me if there was a water leak here that I've seen. No, this room has been fine. So, you know, he's just great, man. Everybody over here has been pretty cool. It's just, you know, a lot of people here are struggling, man. They're really struggling bad, and people in my situation, they don't have an address. They're homeless, and so you see a lot of hurt in people's eyes, a lot of defensive energy, a lot of folks who are active. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So they don't know who's around them and all that. So they looking at you like they want to do something to you, that kind of thing. But, you know, I don't put out that type of energy. And with what I'm going through, as I told y'all, I'm just going by the grace of God, man. I don't want anybody to bring any crash out energy to me, because I'm going to match it. I really am, just off the strength of what I'm going through. So I'm just praying that the Lord doesn't allow me to run into anybody that wants to do something like that. Because at the end of the day, I do have a voice that I respect a lot, and there's no sense in us making life worse, being angry towards strangers because of circumstances in our lives that have nothing to do with one another. But we'll take those angers, we take those defensive mechanisms and those demons, and we tend to push them off onto other people that we don't know. And that's how the devil can rob us of everything we have. So while I'm cognizant of that, it's about having the temperament to deal with it. It's a whole nother conversation, to be wise and then to be able to act on that wisdom. It requires a whole lot of patience, and it requires a whole lot of faith, and I'm engaging in both at the moment. I feel pretty good. So those are 2 things out the way. The other thing is, now I have to psych myself into finally doing what I need to do to get on the road, or to get a job. And that's also something I've kind of been hesitant to do. As you guys know, yesterday was not a good physical day for me, even though I feel 100% today. I don't feel like that at all today. I feel just fine, and I think that's hopefully gonna stick around. You know, it just comes down to knowing your body and knowing what works. And last night I was guilt tripping myself about doing that squat regimen, because I knew if I didn't, I would likely continue a continuum of how that was. It would probably be another day like that again. But I knew if I pushed myself to get that done, it would more than likely give me the energy to continue going forward and kind of have that second win. So couple that with a nice sleep and a couple of good meals, and I'm back to feeling like myself today. But I'm still quite a bit anxious about getting the job that ultimately needs to be had, and that is a mental thing for me. It ain't deeper than that. It's just being used to doing things a certain way, having the ability to ask for people and to give me something, and they do it. A lot of that can just make for a weaker me at the end of the day. But, you know, just like my boy T said, just like I know in my head, if it does, you know, if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. And you know, it's not like I have a choice. So that's really what it is, just trying to overcome my mental, just like it always is, telling me no when I have to. And so this is just something, one more thing that I need to get help for. But the good thing is, I do talk to my psychiatrist tomorrow, and I'm going to not only talk to her about what I got going on, but I'm going to talk to her about that GR paperwork that needs to be sent to her that I can't seem to access, because I can't have it sent to me. Tried calling DPSS yesterday. They didn't even answer the phone. They didn't even, you know, they usually like answer and stuff. No, it literally pick it up, hung up. Call back, pick it up, hung up. So that's what I got from DPSS yesterday. Haven't called them since, but that is something that needs to be done. So it's just a lot of stuff that I got to overcome here, that circumstances should otherwise make it so that it's easy to do. But with me, If it were that easy, I would never been in this situation in the first place. And it's hard to explain that to people. You know, I think my boy T was a little frustrated at that type of mentality too. It's like, you know, why don't you just do what you got to do? It's like, man, the root of that is the question for my whole life. When we went through this, me and my mother, back when I was 9 years old, and it's still the same problem, the same way, the same me, but with more dire circumstances now that she's no longer around to hold me down for that, for the duration of my weakness. So, you know, it's just one of those situations where it's like the freedom of it all, the freedom to move around, the freedom to build. Once you have money, you can do more. For whatever reason, that doesn't correlate to me as it pertains to, okay, let's go get the money so we can do that. It's the part where it says let's go get the money. It's all the different stuff that I ultimately am struggling with having to do. Go to work, deal with you, bosses, whatever the case may be. Go to work, deal with the circumstances, the pressures, and all of that stuff that I just haven't. I have done away with in regards to my personal life. Choices that I've made to never go back to that, now I have to go back on. And you know, I'm not completely down on it consciously, but subconsciously, when it's time to do those things, my mind will do everything it can to keep from it. And I'm tired of that. I'm tired of living that way. I'm tired of feeling that way. I'm tired of not understanding whether or not I'm wrong for that, or if it is something awry. The answers aren't there because the help hasn't come. So it's like, yo, if I could just talk to that psychiatrist a bit more, maybe she can get to the nitty gritty of what it is, and hopefully I can then at least have a better way of viewing myself, is to say, yeah, there are fight or flight circumstances that I just don't respond well to, and this is why. There are fight or flight circumstances that maybe I can't go back to work. Maybe this is something I can't ultimately overcome over time, you know? Or if I am able to overcome it, maybe that's something they could tell me, like, yo, you just have to do, and I think you can, and this is why. And so mental illness is robbing me of everything. It's robbing me of everything, man. At the end of the day, it's as articulate as I can be, as all these different things that I got going on, faith, all of that. At the end of the day, for whatever set of reasons, I do not have control over this. Even with my faith, even with my belief in God, when it comes to these different things, it's like, yeah, all the wisdom's there, but just like I said about the other thing, the temperament, the choice, the movement of self. I always liken it to having a paralyzed limb. You can look at it all you want, will it to move, see the wisdom in moving, I gotta pick something up. But if it's paralyzed, all you're gonna do is sit there frustrating and sweating, trying to get it to move, and of course it never will. That's exactly how this works. That's exactly how this works. I can convince myself all day, I can write down all the pros and cons and all of this, and when I get up to move, that part for which it wants to refuses. And I can pray it off, pray around it, and it just won't. And so that's why I consider it something that I probably need help for, mental illness or whatever. This has been like that my whole life. And I told you guys a million times that I think it stems from the childhood trauma and the situation that took place when I was left there, I think. But again, no help. So it's a bit on the frustrating side, but at the same time, the Lord kept me alive this long. He obviously wanted me to do something. I obviously have the ability to, you know, do a little something, because I wouldn't have a little that I have. You know, the shirt I'm wearing, I bought that with money I worked with. So obviously it's not always like that, or I wouldn't have made it this far. But to know when to access it, for example, these last 2 days, it should have been nothing keeping me from wanting to drive other than my physical energy. Today should have been nothing keeping me from wanting to drive. And yet I'm still struggling with that side of myself. So you know, what I think I don't want is to get frustrated with others who may get frustrated with me. That's what I don't want, because it's one of those situations where it's like, of course they're going to be frustrated. There's no reason for me to not be able to do whatever it is that I need to do, other than the fact that there's something inside of me that chooses not to. And from their point of view, from the outside looking in, it's like, yo, there's nothing wrong with you, bro. And honestly, you being weak. And honestly, I don't want to help you because of it. And I don't blame people for that. The only problem is I'm not necessarily controlling that. It's not, that's the problem. And it always has been. It's not a newfound thing. So I just don't want to lose people. You know what I mean? I don't want to lose people that I'm trying to gain love. I'm not love, but gain rapport with. My family, my boy T, people who've never dealt with me on this level too much. It's like now they're trying to get me to move because I have to. And it's like, yo, it's always been this. It's always been I have to move and didn't. It's always been it's dire and you need to hurry up and convince yourself. And it's always been that. And so it's like, My mother gave up on me. I'd imagine that everybody else will too, eventually. And so it's just one of those situations, which is why I held my shares and went all in and over leveraged. It wasn't because I wasn't wise enough to not over leverage. It's because I knew that if I didn't get every single coin in one single flurry, I probably would never earn it. You know, that's my thinking. And even if I were to try to convince myself to get a job, eventually somewhere in that tenure, I'm gonna end up quitting the job just like I did all the other ones. So to maintain myself, it's just a matter of how long it's going to be before I find myself in yet another homeless type situation if I don't get a big bag quickly. And y'all know my spirit. I'm not going to go out there selling drugs. I'm not going to go out there trying to do things illegal. I'm not going to go in there and start scamming and doing all types of stuff that make God angry at me when I'm already angry enough in myself. I don't need that type of karma on my head just to make a bag so that I can save myself from my own weaknesses or whatever this mental illness is. I don't have those morals to go get that bag and take all my talents and say, yo, people behind the curtain, let's continue the devil's work. Let's go ahead and rope these people into low frequency so y'all can continue embezzling from the earth. No, because also how I'm wired, I don't allow that to come through either. You know, that's the good thing about the mental illness. Then when it comes to me having to do certain things that are not right, I don't do those either, even if it's culture, even if it makes sense to do so. So, you know, it is what it is, man. I struggle. I need help. I need SSI, it seems, or at least I believe I do. I'm telling myself that I do, and that's all I can go by until somebody tells me what the hell is actually going on in my head. So somebody actually knows and can share that information with me. So I'm working with the spirit. I know what needs to be done. I have the money to do it. I've had good days doing it. That should be enough to get it done, right? So we'll see what happens. But as of right now, I'm deeply struggling with picking a program. Uber, Lyft, picking a program. And just sticking with it because I have so many bad memories of me working for 3 days and not making profit until that 4th day. Working for 3 days just to pay the car off and then only getting $50 on the end of the week. I wasn't making no money. And while I know that you can do things differently to make more money, at the end of the day, what if I just don't have that type of success? Or what if? And then I'm stuck there, not making the money I need to make, still asking people for help, and then risking all kinds of other different stuff driving around is normal. You know, risking everything that happens to do with driving all day long. And so that's what it is, man. I just, honestly, I'm looking for the Lord to give me the motivation, the strength, the wisdom, and whatever would be able to be so that I can help myself to what it is that I need and help myself to the self-respect that ultimately should be coming my way to prove to everybody that I'm willing, which is not ever really the problem. So yeah, man, like I said, mental illness has definitely robbed me of everything, it seems. It's taken away everything. And while I can blame AMC's, the corruption within AMC for why the dollar amount in my account is not where it's supposed to be, that I'm pouring on my own hard-earned money on top of that is not nobody's fault. And I'm hesitant to even blame myself given what it is I'm struggling with, especially since I believe I have all the reasons for why to do better. I mean, if I didn't have the right stuff rolling around in my head, if I was in complete denial about my circumstances, or if it was something like that, I'd be able to say, okay, you know, I'm just ignorant and I can't see different. But that ain't you know all what it is. I can write down every pro and con in my situation, I see it all. And at the end of the day, it's just like the Lord didn't wire me to do those things properly. That's how I have to take it. He just didn't wire me to do what I'm supposed to do. He wired me to struggle this way. And because of it, I'm able to do all of the different things that I've been able to do. I'm in the spaces I'm in at the exact moment I'm supposed to be, so that you get all of these videos. And a lot of these videos would needed to be made. I would not have made them if I was doing what I was supposed to do. And so that's what I weigh everything against. It's like, I hate that I struggle. I hate that I need help and that I keep asking people for help. I love that they support me and that they are here for me. But if what I'm doing on the side isn't manifesting in anything that's making money, I'm a bottomless pit for them. At some point in time, I have to put an end to that. And what that looks like, I do not know. You know what I'm saying? Putting an end to that, I don't know what that looks like. Does that mean suicide? Seems so, honestly. If I can't convince myself to do anything that would otherwise keep them from having to pay my way or force them into having to say no to me eventually. It's like if I can't convince myself to do what I need to do to make a way, then I need to go away. And that's just what logic tells me, man. That's just exactly what logic tells me. Because I'm not somebody who's comfortable with other people taking care of me like this. I'm not. I don't want people to think I am. So, you know, this is just the truth, man. And I pray against those type of energies. Obviously, anything that makes you want to quit is not right. But at some point in time, when you look at the specifics of my circumstances, one has to ask, what is actually available to me to make me not be a burden to others, or to not force them into having to say no eventually, to keep from having to be burdened by my nonsense. If I can't do anything to make money, then I'm going to be homeless, poor forever. There's no way around that. And like I said, you know, waiting on the hedge funds to grow a heart or grow some decency. I mean, those people are in firm position to not have to question why they should do good things for anyone else. They don't have to. You know, I was looking at people on these hedge funds, not hedge funds, on these Wall Street bets platforms. I mean, they're so backwards in what it is they're trying to get people who are poor to receive and believe. They had a dude up there. He basically said that the worst scam in America is the 30-year mortgage. He thinks that Americans are more than likely to save more money and ultimately have better lives if they rent their entire lives. Like, that's the stuff they're putting out there for people to read, and they call themselves intelligent, but in the same time they're belittling people who want to own anything for themselves. They're belittling people who want to invest in anything for themselves, and in belittling them they say harsh things about them as they do. It's like they're calling you stupid the whole time and then proceeding to tell you the very opposite of what it ultimately builds you anything worth having. Like, this is the evil that's in this world that's agreed upon. You know what I mean? And anytime you try to have any resistance to it, they start laughing. It's like they're trying to destroy the country from the inside out. I'm not confused about that. So as I look at that type of stuff and know that that's the energy that I'm actually fighting against, I'm waiting for them to give me what I'm owed. I'll be cold and dead before that ever happens, and I'm aware of that. So it's like I'm no longer waiting for MC to pop. I'm just holding out of spite. And if the Lord decides he wants to bring forth that, cool. But as far as me thinking that they're going to do anything at all to initiate this for the betterment of the poor, once you start seeing how they really think, they don't have that in their plans at all. If anything, they're going to find they're going to devise new ways of making it so that you struggle harder for going against them, because they believe they're gods, and ultimately their whole purpose is the deterioration of you so that they can stand on your back and ultimately continue to enjoy that evil for as long as the Lord allows them to do it. And I don't know this Lord's secrets. I don't know why he doesn't wipe away them. I don't know why this ain't a Sodom and Gomorrah type of situation. Nor it is my business to ask him to do something like that. You know, for all I know, those evil people are having wonderful children who are going to grow up to save the world. I don't know. But the point is, he has his own plans. And it doesn't look like anything is going to work in the favor of this generation as we continue to fight these people. It just doesn't look like it. And so I'm not losing faith. I'm not putting down my sword. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just telling y'all that I'm prepared for this to not end. So long as I'm continuing to watch how these people move and watch how they act and watch what it is that they truly believe in and see the power that they're actually able to yield in the world. You know, they're wielding power in misdirection, and they're investing in our deterioration of our energy and our image, and it's just a real devilish energy out there that's got a lot of power right now, and they've probably had that power for as long as this thing's been spinning. So, you know what I mean? It is what it is. People do evil thinking that evil wins because these people have so much power and they're doing evil too. So it's like, if you want to win, you got to do evil as well. The good die young. So it's like, you know, this is the world the Lord wants it to be. This is what he has it being in 2023. And people like myself who want to keep him happy with what it is that we're doing, coupled with struggling with my own thing, it's like there's no room for me to move around, man. I'm surprised I even made it this long, to be honest with you. And I'm sure a lot of you who've been watching me are actually surprised I made it this far too. But it is what it is, man. That's why I have no fear to speak on what I speak on, because there's nobody who can destroy me any further than what comes naturally destroys me anyway. You know what I mean? Just by not helping my own self in certain situations, what can they do that I hasn't already done, that I haven't already exposed myself to in regards to my choices? So you know, it is what it is, man. I don't find myself to be a shameful person. I don't find myself to be somebody that needs to be disciplined into doing what he needs to do. This is something that even if I was getting beat up every day, I probably would change my ways, because it's not in me to change this. It's in me to fight this as I see myself not being able to change it. So this is what it is, man. I just assume that the Lord's going to continue to, you know, give me what I need, and I'm going to continue to speak on what I speak on, and hopefully it'll reach the people it needs to reach when it's time. Y'all know I'm not super enthused about becoming famous like that. All the things that I do should gain attention, but as far as exalting myself, for what? So y'all can see how much I struggle? I mean, it ain't that serious, man. If anything, I just want the message that I have to reach as many people who can provide the best example from within their lives as possible. You know, I want people who are being used to do the wrong things with their voices and their celebrity to hear of me, and then have a new idea in their head about what's going on there around them. That's what I want. I'm hoping all the great athletes and that I ultimately talk about on my channel with the Lakers and all that, I hope they're watching me, man. You know what I mean? I hope they have an idea, something to weigh against what is otherwise behind the curtain, so to speak, that's keeping them in whatever control that they keep them by way of these contracts that are designed to keep them from not only acting up, but keep them from speaking about stuff like this. I just want them to know that it's okay that you protect yourself and protect your image and protect your wealth, but at the same time, you got to know what you're relaying forward when you don't speak on real stuff, when you don't put your head up out from under that curtain and see what the hell's going on back here with these poor people. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, poor people being treated poorly, they're being stirred in a pot like a damn, like a pot of stew, and ultimately, you know, being funneled into the ground. That's what I see. So if you cool with that, you got to know there's a living God that ain't, and he's gonna be looking for you from within your celebrity and within your power to do something about it. You know what I mean? From within your talent, within your grace, to not just perpetuate this nonsense, not just push it forward in the name of your contract, but use the celebrity and the image that you have to use your voice to take back what has been stolen from all of us. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm hopeful that I can inspire. I mean, even if I'm not the main voice that people see, let me be the one that sparks the mind that is. That'll be success for me. But you know, it sucks because I know I got talent too. I'm not devoid of a lot that I can share to make myself whatever the hell. I just don't desire to be that. From within that talent, there's also a depth and a spiritual strength. From within my gifts, there's also a desire to see the poor okay and the rich thrive. You know what I mean? I think we all can thrive, because money ain't the real value at all. It's what you pass forward to your children and how they are able to evolve. That's what you really are gifted with in this life. And if you're able, by way of your money, to give them the best life, cool. But with a silver spoon comes a certain detachment from what struggle's about, and from respecting struggle to a degree. And that's what we see on high when these people try to use the poor as a means of standing on their own, you know, use the backs of the poor to stand on it. But it's because they've never respected poor, because they've never had to be poor, but they will face poor. Make no mistake about it, a lot of those people who have embezzled the world's economy's money, eventually they're going to have to spew it right out of their backside like diarrhea. And believe you me, squeeze will take place because of that. That is basically inevitable at this point. And a lot of y'all rich celebrities, a lot of y'all contract money is wrapped up in them hedge funds. A lot of the money they're paying y'all with to get y'all salaries, your $100 million, $200 million, these are money that they're using, they're taking from what it is that I'm talking about. Something Michael Jordan, from what I understand, he's caught up in that. One of them hedge funds, he had to sell his, from what I understand, I don't know this to be true, but from what I read, he got caught up in the GME situation. His people he was trusting with his money, were using his money to short GME. And it did this little mini squeeze, and he lost a lot of money. So I'm telling y'all, that's how it goes. You know, hey, make sure y'all have your money wrapped up in stuff that ain't got nothing to do with these damn hedge funds. I'm telling you, I don't care if you got $1 billion. Don't have all your money in them hedge funds, bro. Have your money somewhere else. I don't know what you can do for yourself, but please hear me, and hear me good. When that thing squeezes, a lot of y'all that are wealthy as hell, y'all gonna lose a lot of money. maybe everything. Maybe everything, bro. Because they are embezzling so much from the world's economy to where they're going to have to give it back. And when they do, it's going to come right out of your pocket. So I'm telling y'all, I'm telling people right now, I don't know when this is going to happen, maybe this decade, maybe today, but some of y'all need to start devising ways of moving your funds out of those hedge funds that are shorting AMC, shorting GME. If you know that they're doing that, your money ain't safe, brother. Your money ain't safe, sister. I promise you. I don't care how much you have. If it's in there, it's a risk. It's a serious risk. So I wasn't telling y'all this for nothing. I'm not one of these poor people that want to see a guy like LeBron James lose his wealth or something. I don't want to see that at all. I don't want to see that. I want that brother to keep his wealth in his family forever. And I know he's not at risk necessarily, but just the point, you know what I mean? Just the point. I don't desire to see that. You know, I'm not trying to take from people I appreciate. I just know they have their money wrapped up in parent companies that are no good in some cases. It may not be the guy you're doing business with, but it's the guy that funds them that have done this. You got to know that. You got to know that, man. So that's why I'm trying to push what I'm pushing, man. I hope people are listening to me. I know that I'm just a guy, you know what I mean? I don't know much, but I'm telling you, I've been in this for 3 years. I've been watching these people. I've been studying the energy that they put out for us to be confused by. And I'm telling you, they're devilish. The type of devilish that you do not trust. You know, not just your little street guy. No, we talking about institutionalized devilishness. And so that's what I'm telling y'all. These people, they on their way to their loser, to their loser places. That's where they on their way to a space where losing is going to be imminent. And I don't know what God's going to want to do, but it's going to be unprecedented. I'm sure of that, because it's been a lot there has been a lot been done, has been prayed about. People have been crying out to God for a long time, and we've seen him free slaves. We've seen him have people walk around for 40 days, 40 nights. We've seen him end wars. We've seen all kinds of stuff. This is just another era where stuff is going to happen like that. Whatever the mental slavery, all this other stuff is being done in the dark, I assure you, a lot of us will live to see it come to light. A lot of us will be there when these people are exposed for all of the nonsense that they've been doing, and the world will change as it pertains to what it is that we understand about some of the stuff that our money has been involved in. So I'm just telling people, I don't know if you believe in that. I don't know if you care to hear what I'm talking about, but when it comes to pass, just remember BDF 44 been talking about this. This ain't new. Some of y'all ain't gonna be surprised when y'all see this stuff, because y'all done seen my videos, you done seen people talking about this. You know this is not a game. Trillions with a T have been embezzled from the world's economy. The world's economy. Not just America. The world. Everywhere there is a stock market, these people are selling fake shares. Everywhere there's somebody investing in something, they have some of that money invested in that. Everything is affected by this. The world's economy. So that's why I'm telling people, invest in farming, invest in whatever natural stuff you can, invest in institutions that you create from scratch. You know, build buildings, own property, everything you can to get your money away from where it can otherwise be squozed into the hands of the poor, because that is exactly what is going to happen with a lot of it. So you don't have to take what I'm saying if it's true. You don't, if you don't want to believe it, it doesn't matter. When the clock says it's time for it to happen, it will be a reality for a lot of us. It will be a reality for everybody. When it comes to pass, it won't be a, oh my God, a bunch of laughs. No. It's gonna be panic. It's gonna be nationwide, worldwide panic as it pertains to the finances and the financial systems of this world. So look, I've prayed prayers about this. If I don't know what I'm talking about, the Lord wouldn't let me say it. I know it. He would not let me put this warning out there for all of y'all. Not only am I paying attention to what they're doing, but I'm reading the energy that's coming my way. They are welcoming the worst of things, and everybody attached to them. It's like the Titanic. Anything around it's gonna sink with it. So take it for what it's worth, man. Hopefully this video has given me enough time to wash the clothes. I found that this laundry washer usually takes almost 45 minutes to an hour. It's one of them old school ones. It's not like the ones I had in my old apartment, but I prefer these anyway, to be honest with you. But nevertheless, man, I decided to wash the sheets. I wasn't certain if they wash the sheets here and that kind of thing, but they don't, so I take care of that myself, no problem at all. And yeah, man, I just want people to follow your heart, follow what feels right. If you know you're in something you're supposed to be in, or if you know you're in something you're not, trust that feeling, man. A lot of y'all gonna get the warning before it happens. A lot of y'all ain't meant to fall. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of y'all gonna be saved from these circumstances, and I hope that is you. But I'm telling you, a lot won't. A lot will not. And I'm really worried about some of the people who are living very comfortably about what's gonna happen to their kids' money, whatever that generational wealth that y'all putting together, that y'all earned doing whatever you're doing. I'm worried about that for you. I really am. Because I know that it's not wrapped up in anything good. Some of y'all ain't bad, but the people you're trusting are some of the worst humans. Some of the worst humans. And what's coming for them is not good either. So that's what I know, man. But that's pretty much the thought, man. I don't know what to do with myself as it pertains to what I need to do versus how I'm feeling. But this is what the Lord ultimately puts in my heart to do. This is the stuff that he doesn't compel everybody else who's working and doing everything they have to do. They're not doing this. This is what he wants. This is what he puts in my heart to do instead of the stuff that I need to do to keep my life going. And it frustrates me, to be honest with you. It frustrates me because in the world I'm in, it doesn't give you the right reputation if you're not working. It doesn't give you the right reputation if you're living off the government. It doesn't give you the right reputation if you just investing in stuff blindly. It doesn't, the stuff that comes naturally to me. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily work. But just the same, while I'm not at work, I'm having these conversations. While I'm not at work, I'm doing those art pieces. While I'm not at work, I'm doing these playlists. While I'm not at work, I'm doing timeless stuff as an artist. And so that's what I do. That is what I should be getting paid to do. And that ultimately would probably provide me way more money than anything else that I would otherwise want to do in the moment. But, you know, it's up to the Lord how that goes, and it's up to him ultimately that I find myself in those arenas and safe within those arenas. As I continue to do what it is I do, speaking against the powers that be that ultimately don't mean us any good at all. And I find myself thinking about how I'm standing up against the biggest giant in the world. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm a one man standing up against the biggest Goliath in the world. Fully aware of the evil he's doing. And I almost feel like nobody else does but me. I truly feel that way. Trillions stolen from the world's economy by way of the stock market. My name is BDF 44. I'll thank you all for watching. Wow.